I need to know what every part is. If you're going to build a masterpiece, I need to know what every part is. I need to know the sequence they need to be built, how they need to be assembled, so that I can go ahead and do what I need to do.
Hi, this is Coach Joe Lukacs, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed, smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode.
Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lukacs, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. If you know what the calendar says, it is the week before Thanksgiving, and we are getting ready. It's prep day for our 23rd annual business planning conference. So I'm going to give you guys a little nickel tour in a little bit. T-minus 18 hours and counting to launch. So what I want to do in this episode is walk you through some distinctions that I've gained over 23 years of doing these types of events, and then obviously 30 years of doing the coaching thing. So the question you got to ask yourself is, there are a lot of industry conferences, right? Especially in the fall, it's like conference season, right? And you may have your broker-dealer conference, you may go to Schwab Impact, plenty of other specialty conferences out there. Why go to conferences? Like, what's the purpose? Now, for some advisors, it's an excuse to get out, get away, hopefully learn something. Most of the time party, it's just a reality, right? And, nothing wrong with that. But let's face it, your time is valuable. Airfare, relatively speaking, these days is not cheap. Inflation's everywhere. And so I think it's really important that you have a strategy. Like here in our event, we don't do sponsorships. There's no gotcha moments, right? It's not a parade of vendors trying to sell you something. Our 3 days and the prep work prior to it is devoted to one thing and one thing only: coming up and helping advisors create a 10-year plan, working it all the way through to what we're going to do in 2024 in a very, I think we've got 13 modules this year, and a very methodical approach. Really, really important. Now, why, if you look around the room real quick and you see we're setting up here, right, from that perspective, I'll give you guys, again, if you're doing the podcast, you may want to go on YouTube and check this out. So if you notice, again, it's a little cloudy, rainy here in Fort Lauderdale today, but see that beach down there? Thursday morning, we're going to be on that beach watching the sun come up, and we're going to be doing goal setting, and we're going to be doing gratitude, and we're going to be walking through a process to determine the next 10 years. You see on this side here, I'll walk you over here real quick, this side of the room. So all glass, by the way, very hard to find in South Florida, all glass. See over there? A very large yacht center. Why is that important? I'm not in the boat business. It's about success. It's about expansion. It's about abundance. Ultimately, that matters. It just does. And so when you think about, where you are in your world, right? I mean, let's face it, we're coming up at the end of 2023. 2024 is not that far away. You have to determine for yourself, and this is the key message for this episode. You're going to have a blank canvas come 2024. You can create anything you want. One of the prerequisites to be in this room is a certain mindset. And here's the mindset: that you truly believe that your future is going to be greater than your past and greater than your present. So in other words, from a business perspective, the best days lie ahead. Because if you don't have that psychology, then you're just in kind of hangout mode. You're just in good enough mode. And one of the things I'm going to spend a lot of time on, we break this event up into 3 phases. Day 1 is mindset, day 2 is vision, and day 3 will be implementation, execution. A lot of time is going to be spent on standards, because ultimately your standards will determine the level of success. If you're in good enough mode, then you're going to be in good enough mode. It's going to be just okay. Slightly better than last year. If you commit to excellence, think of it like a spectrum, right? So good enough, hope we do as well as we did last year. That's a standard. What you want to do is a standard going forward. So like a spectrum, right? So average / good enough, excellence. It's a standard, it's a spectrum. The gap that most human beings have in goal setting is they don't understand how to apply standards to it. So let me explain. Let's just say that you have a goal, and let's say your goal is that as an advisor, I want to be more productive every day. I know I waste time, I'm not focused, I don't have a game plan, I squander hours every day. And I want you to think about this as, let's just say you squander 2 hours a day. Not focused, flipping Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. 2 hours a day is 10 hours a week. It's 40 hours a month. You get the math, right? We're talking, you're losing weeks of productivity. In a decade, you basically lose more than a year. Like, just take a year off. Like, just don't do anything, because that's the same. You're going to end up in the same place. So when you're looking at a goal, so let's say the goal is, I want to be more productive every day. By the way, that's not specific enough. So how much more productive we want to be? So how can we measure standards, outcomes? Are we looking to have 5 more conversations with clients every day? Are we looking to book a COI conversation every day? Or like, what is the X for you, or the X's? Again, you know a lot, but you need some. Okay, so that's standard. So let's work backwards. Okay, so I want to have a great day. I want to raise my standards every day. So what must happen first thing in the morning? I have to get up. What is the standard there? Well, I'm going to try to get up around 6:30. Is that the right standard? Should it be 6? Should it be 5:45? Again, standard. Next, what do you do for the first 30 to 45 minutes in the morning? I mean, if you're grabbing for your phone, you're checking CNBC, you're looking at your email, stuff like that, you can have all the goals you want. Standard's not going to support it. You need to have standard. So what are we going to do there? So we're going to get very precise. We're going to say, hey, we're going to get up at 5:30, and from 5:30 to 6:30 or 6:15, it's me time. I'm going to do my power hour, my Magellan Power Hour. If you guys don't know what that is, it's part of our program. We teach the first 45 minutes to an hour every day how to get this locked in to go be excellent every day. Okay, that's standard. Now, what else would be part of this recipe? What are we missing? If you think the standard is, well, I've got to get up at 5, let's say 5:45, 5:30, whatever it is, right? That's my standard. Okay, what is the standard you need to go sleep at? What is the standard for lights out? Because what I found in my career.
Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode.
Most people sabotage their morning the night before. They eat too late, they eat the wrong kind of foods, they're putting the wrong stuff in their body, and they're up too late, they're all on the electronic devices, and then you can't sleep. And then when 5:45, 6, whatever time the wake up time for the standard's supposed to be, what happens? Can't do it. Didn't sleep enough. So I want you to think about what we just uncovered in this conversation. You go from, one of my goals for 2024 is I want to be more productive. Great. What are the standards inside of that? Okay, here they are. I'm going to do 5 more conversations a day. I'm going to have 1 more meeting a day. I'm going to have 2 or 3 more introductory conversations a day. I'm going to have 1 COI interaction a day. Let's just say those are your new standards you're going to put on top of what you're currently doing. Back it up. Okay, what has to happen? We got to make sure we own the morning. We own the first hour of the day. We got to make sure it happens. What are the standards in there? Back it up again. What time's lights out the night before? Because that is the true standard. And if we want to really kind of push it forward, right, we go, well, then what time do we need to eat dinner? What are we going to eat for dinner, right? Because we can't eat dinner too late. It'll keep us up at night. Not good, right? We don't eat a lot of sugars and carbs. We'll be sweating all night. We'll be burning it off, right? So again, standards. See, a lot of times, the goal that you have, and what most human beings do, and again, we'll talk about advisor land for a second, you'll focus on trying to have a great day. You'll focus on, quote unquote, trying to have more productivity in a day, but that's an effect of something, not the cause. You got to look at what you do in the morning. You got to look at what you do here and backwards. So let's break this down one more way. Let's just say, for example, you want to go ahead and increase your business by, let's just pick a round number. Let's say I want to bolt on another $100,000 of top line in 24 as a minimum. Okay. Well, it's simple, right? $100,000 top line, keep the math simple in our world, right? 10 million, right? At one point, right? Let's not have the conversation of, well, does come in early to get all 4 quarters. Keep it simple. Okay, so I can bring in $10 million. So goal, $100,000 of top line increase, standard, 10 mil. What's underneath that? Well, in order to get 10 million, right, it's going to be a combination of 2 things. Optimizing my current book of business and then new clients. So let's look at new clients. How many new clients do we want in 2024? Standard, right? How much money do we think we can attract from our current clients? Standard. Break it down one more step, right? In order to go ahead and uncover those outside opportunities with my current client base, what's standard? I got to have a balance sheet. Great. Well, then break that standard down. How many balance sheets do we need to be updating or creating in a given week or month? Standard, right? Boom. New clients. How many new households? Standard. How are we going to attract them? Are we going to do referrals and introductions? The answer is yes on that, by the way. Are we going to do COIs? Are we going to do some of the digital marketing? Are we doing seminars? Are we doing client events? Bring a guest? Like, what are we doing? Standard, 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 standard. You have to break down, and like I said, when day 2 here, you have to break down the goal. So, because here's what happens. The more vagueness you have in your planning process, the more your mind has to work at trying to figure out what has to be done. When you set the goal and you reverse engineer the standards, you are articulating what the little standard / mini goals are, become level 2 goals, action items, call them whatever you want, doesn't matter. You're not asking your brain to try to figure out, you already figured it out. That means you have a lot more mental and emotional energy to deploy to actually doing it, right? Remember, the mind does not like vagueness. It does not like uncertainty. Most of us are high certainty-driven individuals. The old saying, creatures of habit, things like that, right? So whenever you're setting a goal, You need to break it all the way down to like the smallest possible. Like think of it like an instruction manual. I need to know what every part is. If you're going to build a masterpiece, I need to know what every part is. I need to know the sequence they need to be built, but how they need to be assembled, so that I can go ahead and do what I need to do. Take any area of your life, okay? I'll take a personal one, not one that a lot of people are thinking about. I always talk about health and fitness, right? I want to improve my personal relationships. Let's just say my significant other. Hey, in 2024, I want to improve my marriage, my relationship, my significant, whatever, again, pick anything you like. Okay, well, first of all, improve, is there a way to measure that? First off, I'm going to say, well, how do we measure it, right? Is there more connection? Is there more measurables, right? One three-letter word comes to mind. We're going to keep it PG here today, right? Is there more of that? And is that our benchmark? Is that our measurement, right? So there's the goal. Okay, well, how am I going to do this? Do I make sure that standards now, let's practice standards on, hey, every day, do I need to just give that person a hug and tell them I love them? What else do I need to do? The standard needs to be, maybe we need to have date night once a week. What else the standard is? I need to ask more how their day is going. What else is a standard, right? Like, and you start breaking it down to where it's precise. Then your mind doesn't have to try to figure it out. And when you're not clear on the figure it out, what do? We procrastinate. Well, I'm not sure exactly what to do, and I don't know what I'm going to do is going to work, so therefore I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to think some more about it, right? So the more you think about it, the more you have to think about it, the more inclined you're going to be to procrastinate about it and around it. So precision is our key. I want you to think about that. So when you're going to be part of our process, and there's a link here. This year is going to be cool. About 75 advisors in the room, and which is typically what we do every year because we like to keep it kind of intimate. We're going to have several hundred on the live stream, doing it virtually throughout the world, which is really, really cool. And love to have you come be a part of that. There will be a masterclass on the end of this, so even if you're watching this and it's like December, January, there's still the masterclass, all the live recordings out of this. Right? I think it's a pretty cool room. I think we can do some really good strategic planning here, right? Beautiful room, view's nice, the vibe's nice, stuff like that. So if you're joining us, I'll see you literally in 24 hours or less than that. But for everybody else, whenever you're thinking about goals, you just can't think about them without really unpacking the standards. When you unpack the standards, that is the action items, that's your tasking, that's your to-do. That's what we need to be focused on, okay? So thank you very much for giving me your time. Again, if you're listening to this on our podcast, maybe worthwhile going over to the YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, make sure, and if this made any sense to you, please forward it to your friends and colleagues in the game, in our game called Advisorland, and thank you very much. Next week will be Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving in advance if I don't see you, and thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show.
Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.